Mental health issues greatly impact the Generation Z community. In this interview today, I will interview my friend Ryan Jin, who is a high school graduate who will be attending Yale in the fall. All right, I think we can get started now. Is that all right?
All right, let's go.
All right. Right now we're gonna have Ryan Jin joining us um, from university. Uh, I have some questions
So
for you, Ryan, for my interview about mental health. So, starting off with number one, did you have any problems with mental health when you're preparing for college? And did that
I
affect
think
like,
Mallory.
wait, sorry, continue.
Sorry, continue.
Yeah, and did that like affect like the result of how you did on your SATs and your GPAs and all that?
Okay. Um. So I guess you're talking about college preparation in terms of like a very long time horizon, like standardized testing, preparing for extracurriculars. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um. Yeah, I'd say that there was a certain level of that to mental health regarding the college application process because first of all, there is a lot of competitiveness, as in you're constantly surrounded by peers who are also amazing. They are getting really high scores in their standardized testing. They're taking a lot of APs. They're doing a lot of these outside activities. Um, they're working with this professor during this summer and doing that program during that summer. So there's a lot of pressure that can be found in the environment, and that's often a source of mental pressure during the college application season.
Yeah,
Does that answer the question?
yeah, yeah. And also, just like a follow up, now looking back on the process, do you think the pressure was positive or negative?
Um, well, my personal belief is that their pressure can be positive if it is moderated and it is effectively internalized, as in, like, there are constantly people around me who motivate me to do better, who encourage me that I can challenge myself at a much greater level. I think that's positive pressure. So the moment when it becomes negative pressure is when I begin to degrade myself or when I begin to lose confidence in myself based on other people's achievement. Well, that happened very rarely for me, but when it did happen, it wasn't a really good feeling. Like maybe I wasn't in the zone for this test or this competition, and I feel like I'm lagging behind. And I think that's a feeling, or that's a sort of pressure that is not so positive.
Hmm. Yeah, thank you. And also, did you have any problems with mental health when you were in college?
Um, I'm not in college yet. Like I just graduated high school, so but I will say I think about 1 out of 3 people who go to where I'm going have some sort of mental health problem. But I do want to emphasize um, that I don't think it is wrong or it is not okay to have mental health issues. It's like, look, people have colds, people have headache, and we know that it's not really good, but we also are able to accept that sometimes people do have a really bad physical health day. And I think that it's the same for mental health. Like there are times when we carry more stress than we can handle. It's not something that we should be ashamed of or something we should hide, but it is something that we should recognize. It is something that we should give our attention to, give our care to, and not hide it under a blanket. So even though I'm not a technically college student yet, I know that I will face a lot of mental health issues. But I think just like physical health issues, I'm ready to deal with them.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And what do you think of mental health for Generation Z kids, and how much do you think it affects them?
I think that mental health issues are becoming there. I feel like there are two trends of mental health in terms of Gen Z kids. First of all, I think it's becoming more prevalent, and I think that's mainly due to our constant usage of social media. both as a source of comparison, of idealization, of like anchoring what a good life looks like and comparing ourselves against that, and also as a source of distraction. So when we don't want to do our homework, we use social media as a source of procrastination. When we feel sad or when we feel lonely, then social media is oftentimes the solution to make us feel busy and distracted. And it doesn't solve any root problem that we're facing. It doesn't help you get your homework done. It doesn't help you become happier. But I feel like social media is a important factor of the Gen Z generation that is driving this mental health situation. I think the second trend, however, is that mental health is becoming more of abundant conversation for Gen Z kids, as in like 50 years ago, not that many people were talking about mental health. A lot of parents during when they grew up, like my parents when they grew up, when they had mental health issues, oftentimes they were told, suck it up and move on. But I think that in our generation, we become more like tolerant, we become more accepting of people with mental health issues. And I think that also allows people to be able to express mental health issues more publicly and like to own it, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And also, following up on that question again, um, you said that social media it greatly impacts Generation Z mental health, which to a degree I completely agree. Now, do you think it would be necessary that Generation Z kids would like stay off of social media in order to prevent this mental health crisis?
That's a good question. I think that there are certain benefits to social media, but we just have to recognize how to extract those benefits and not allow ourselves to fall prey to the kind of psychological traps of social media. Because social media is designed to keep you distracted from the other emotions you're experiencing. It is designed to make you feel inadequate. It is designed to make you feel like you're missing out on something, that you need to do X, Y, and Z to complete your life. So I think that there are a lot of harmful components of social media, but there are also many good components of social media that we often overlook or we often don't really use. For example, um, there are really powerful ways for you to connect with friends over social media, but oftentimes we choose a more superficial route to connect with friends on social media. Oftentimes, there are a lot of good resources, good communities online that can unite people, that can allow you to know that you're not alone in this world. There are other people going through what you're going through, and you can bond together. That can be achieved on social media, but not but but not everyone is utilizing these advantages of social media. So I think that I would disagree that Gen Z kids have to completely stay off of social media. I just think that we need to know how to properly use social media so that it doesn't use us like we use them.
Yeah. What does mental health necessarily mean to you? Is it like the same as happiness, or does it simply mean the absence of mental illness?
Um, in my opinion, I don't think it is the absence of mental illness because I feel like it is. I want to say it's normal, but it is. Um, but we should accept people. Well, let me rephrase this. To me, mental health does not mean the absence of mental illness. I think mental health means the knowledge to deal with mental illness, or to have the resources and to have the experience and the belief and the confidence to deal with mental issues. Because as much as we don't want to feel sad or lonely or depressed, sometimes it just comes to us. And I feel like that it is a very natural part of our daily life. Just like getting a cold or getting a headache or getting a stomach ache. I don't think being physically healthy means that you never get a cold, but it does mean that when you do get a cold, you know how to combat it. Your body already knows how to immediately address this problem. And I think it's the same for mental health. It doesn't mean that you never get depressed or you never get lonely or never get sad. It just means that your body or your knowledge is ready to prepare you for whatever there is to come.
Also, do feelings of anxiety or discomfort or example, mental health issues around others bother you?
Like, do other people's anxiety bother me?
And mental health issues overall. Yeah, does it bother you
I
necessarily?
think it depends on how their mental health issues are represented. Because there are some people who are going to come up to you and tell that they're going through mental health issues. There are going to be people that come up to you and say, "Look, I'm depressed because of X, Y, and Z. Maybe I had this really bad breakup. Maybe a really loved one passed away, and that's why nowadays I'm feeling very agitated." When people communicate their mental situation with me, it doesn't bother me at all. Like, I want to be there for them, and I understand where they're coming from. But sometimes I would feel bothered um, if someone is if I don't have knowledge of their mental situation beforehand and they're acting out. So if someone had a really bad day and they start saying bad things to me, then I'll be a bit upset. But if I know that this person had a bad day or this person had a bad experience, then I would be very understanding. I would understand that we all have these days where we are not in our happy zone. Um, so in summary, when other people are going through mental issues, as long as I understand what they're going through, it does not bother me at all.
Also, how frequently have you been bothered by not being able to stop your worrying about like schoolwork, home stuff, or the future, etc.?
Mhm. How frequently am I bothered by that?
Hmm.
Well, for me personally, I feel like I'm extremely bothered by that because I feel like I don't know since when, but there has never been a day where I'm free of responsibility. As in, like, there's summers when I'm technically free, but I also know that, like, hey, I need to work on these activities. Hey, I need to, like, prepare for the summer program or prepare for this course I'm taking next year. So there hasn't really been a moment up to this point where I feel like I can truly take a day off and just have the time to myself without worrying about deadlines, due dates, like responsibilities. Um, so it is a constant bother. So yeah.
All right, that's gonna be it for me. Thank you so much for your interview, Ryan.
All right. Thank you. Hopefully it
Thank you.
helps.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.